What up, everybody, and welcome to M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. Commanders took a tough L, no way around that, but still, you look at a team that's 4-2 that comes in to face this Baltimore squad, legitimate Super Bowl contender. They could not run the ball. I think that's the biggest difference in this game. Jaden still looked pretty good. I think you come out of that loss. I'm not a moral victory avocado toast dude, but this team, Washington, can play with anybody.
They can play with anybody, and you missed Brian Robinson a lot today, particularly at the goal line. I don't think he's the difference between winning and losing.
I don't know why McNichols didn't get goal line carries,
especially for your 100 chips bet.
Yeah, I mean that,
nice. But also no. In reality, you needed somebody.
He's got 3 touchdowns and 18 carries.
He clearly has a nose for the end zone. Eckler does too. I mean, in his career, he scored a lot of touchdowns. But the point being, this team came out and fought, and this is the first game after the Bucs where they had to play from behind. And you didn't see them panic. You saw Jaden stay calm, stay collected. He wasn't trying to score 13 points at once. He took what the defense gave him. They were able to move the ball relatively well. Came up with, 270 passing yards or so?
Yeah, Jaden finished 269, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's 24 or 35. Really good. This game was physical, too. I mean, guys were really getting beat up in this one.
And you saw as they were walking off the field, a bunch of those guys were beat up and hurting. And obviously, John Allen's going to be a big story this week. He had the pec injury. Generally, when they
saw him really taped up with that thing. Apparently, he's going to go get an MRI tomorrow.
When they rule you out immediately, you can't have a ton of optimism.
I was sitting there in the press box, and we both said, I was kind of expecting Derrick Henry to finish this thing out. And sure enough, he did, right? And you're down Allen, you're down Dorrance Armstrong, your D-line lacks a lot of the kind of rotational pieces. Oh, and then they have Derrick Henry who's going to cause major trouble. For me, my takeaway is, Allegretti just told me this in the locker room. When they got down 2 scores, they were down 14, I think.
Right? They were down 14, yeah.
And then they just kind of
answered the Ravens.
The guts, the wherewithal to keep coming back. I think it says a lot about Jaden. I was really impressed. The drive midway through the second quarter, and then again in the second half. Offensively, they weren't their best, I don't think.
Right.
But when you can't run the ball, and they were completely ineffective. Their running backs had 11 carries for, was it 30 yards? Maybe less.
I mean, it was 35 passes to 15 runs.
Eckler had 9 for 21. McNichols had 2 for 9. So 11 for 30. You're not going to win many games when you're that one-dimensional. A lot of people probably want us to get up here and kill the defense. I know BSJ had a rough day. We'll get to that with some of the GOATs. But defensively, I didn't think they were awful, but they just couldn't get off the field. Third downs make such a difference. And the Ravens convert 6 of 10.
Well, and the Commanders were
Washington
1 of 6.
4 of 12.
Commanders were 1 of 6 in the second half. And that's, to answer, the Ravens scored right at the end of the first half. The Commanders came right back down, scored a touchdown right back at them. Would have loved to have had that field goal that got blocked, but that's a long field goal and a tough one.
We had a celebration.
At the end of the day, you just have to appreciate that this team fought to the end, and they got worn down by this Ravens offense. The defense did as they went by.
Totally.
But you got to remember that this is a Ravens team that's a big step up in competition.
Right.
I mean, at the beginning of the season, it looked like the Browns were going to be pretty good.
They stink.
Yeah, you thought the Cardinals might be decent. They kind of stink too. I think
I don't even want to play the game by game because they've looked really good. They didn't look as good as they can. I think a lot of it. I don't know that it's because Brian Robinson didn't play, but that's sure as hell a factor.
Sure, certainly they weren't able to run the ball from the get-go, and they tried to.
They kind of got away
honest.
from it. They never really ran any power except with Jaden at the goal line, which was.
I did not love the power.
Some shots today, and legal, and most of them were in the pocket, and this happens in football, but. He's going to need an ice bath. He's going to be a little beat up.